In the midst of social distancing and business lockdowns, a freelance writer and a graphic artist bought a bus, converted it into a tiny home on wheels, and moved out of our 4-bedroom house. 1 year later, we downsized to a Chevy Express. Now we travel between Texas and Pennsylvania from April through November while exploring small towns with rich histories. In the winter, we hunker down in Texas in our schoolie and dream of our next big trip.
We're Alan and Teresa.
And we're rolling with our gnomies.
No, it's not the Liberty Bell. It's the Frederick County History Bell. It was cast here in Frederick, Maryland on April 1st and 2nd, 2006.
Yeah, so we're standing here in front of the Frederick Puberty Bell, History Bell, Liberty Bell, some bell.
It's a bell.
And we're going to walk the streets of Frederick, Maryland. There's several historical events here that happened, some of them involving the Civil War. We're going to talk about that. We have a walking tour map, and we're going to walk the tour in reverse, but we're not walking the entire tour. There's parts of it that we're more interested in than others, and so it's a 2.5-mile walk if we did the whole thing. And it's a little bit chilly today. We're still early April, and even though it's 4 degrees warmer here than it is in Gettysburg, it's still a little chilly, and the skies are overcast. And so we're going to cut it short, but we're going to get the best parts. We got from the visitor center what are the best parts in terms of architecture and historic significance, and that's the part we're going to focus on today. So follow us around and we'll show you a little bit of Frederick, Maryland. So
there's
we're walking
an awesome example of blending the old with the new. Old building added on with the new. These cabins, while not original to the property, have been relocated and rebuilt here. The front one is original to the property. One of these, I think he said, came from Sykesville, and
one from Harper's Ferry.
One from Springfield.
One is from Harper's Ferry.
Yeah, and then this one over here, I believe, is from Harper's Ferry. And they've been relocated and rebuilt on site by the orchestrator of Chabreau, which we already got some photos of. Beautiful, beautiful area. Yeah, see, this is the building that he's fixing to redo. Chabreau was the center of family life for Frederick's African-American population. Oh, that explains the old money what is torn down.
Yeah.
It's a close-knit community of tinkers, tailors, blacksmiths, wheelwrights, carpenters, cobblers, and by the early 1900s, local businesses located in close proximity afforded employment opportunities for the residents as well.
So in the 70s, a local man here bought up this whole row of the street here, all the property here.
A little bit at a time.
A little bit at a time. and renovated them. He started with the building that we just looked at, and then worked his way down. And the gentleman that rents that building for his shop told us the story. But the old money wanted to tear down all of this, wanted to just level it all, but he wouldn't have it. He had a vision. They lobbied the banks not to lend him any money, and he went on with his project. And today, this is Shab Row, very well done. Local shops, and this man is a very wealthy, prominent local businessman.
Yeah, this is the building that he's fixing to redo.
Very well done.
Right. But you know these buildings are old.
Huh?
You know these buildings are old.
Oh, they are.
Look at the doorbells on this one.
Yeah. And the lamppost up here.
And how narrow that doorway is.
Yeah.
I don't think they make fences like that no more. And what is this church?
This is St. John the Evangelist Roman Catholic Church. By the mid-1800s, the Jesuits had a campus of buildings here, including the novitiate, St. John's Literary Institution, St. John's the Evangelist Roman Catholic Church, that was completed in 1836, and Visitation Academy, founded in 1846.
Wow.
During the Civil War, Visitation Academy was the only school in Frederick to remain open.
Okay.
The church was used to jail Confederate soldiers during the war because it had high windows.
Well, we ain't got to the church yet, but this is Visitation Academy.
Yeah, this is the academy. The church is on up here. Oh, look at this house.
Uh-huh. I don't know which one you're saying, oh, look at it, but I was more interested in this one on the corner.
Both of them are good.
Absolutely gorgeous.
These are beautiful homes.
Okay.
Now here's the church.
Here's the church. Oh my.
Okay, this is the spire that we saw from a distance.
Right? Absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
This was all part of it.
Yeah. Now, that's the original church.
Now this is the height of those windows is why it was used as a jail.
Right.
Okay. And what were you going to say?
So, the rest of this now belongs to the church, but I don't know that this is all original church property. This is
I don't know.
Evangelization Center. And you can tell these buildings were built later.
Right. Alright, I gotta get these houses over here. I mean, that was pretty. The one next to it has my vote, though. It's more my style.
So right here, I believe, is the site. So one interesting little tidbit. One interesting little tidbit about Frederick is in July 1864, Confederate General Jubal Early invaded the town and threatened to burn it to the ground unless the city paid a $200,000 ransom. That was a lot of money back then. The city officials went to 5 local banks, raised the money, and paid the ransom. And this location right here is where they made that transaction.
What did we pay ransom for?
The city.
Oh. Oh, really?
At that time, the city's town hall and marketplace was right here in this location.
Right.
So General Early, like an honorable man would, kept his word, and the city was saved. Only cost $200,000.
Huh.
I wonder if he kept the money or gave it to the Confederates to use for the war effort.
I'm guessing he was raising money for the war effort.
I would think so. City wall art. I gotta love it. This white building is 119 Ramsey Street. Abraham Lincoln came here on October 4th, 1862, returning from his inspection of Antietam battlefield. And if you look on the sign there on the wall, it says Lincoln House Condominium. He visited Union General George Hartsuff, who was recuperating from wounds that he suffered at Antietam. And Abraham Lincoln stayed there. C. Burr Arts Library. So we're looking at a house right in front of Record Street, where we just walked down, and they call this house the Tyler Spite House. Tyler Spite House. In 1814, a man named John Tyler, who was a doctor, heard that city officials wanted to extend Record Street through his lot at that location. It was just a lot. And here's Record Street. We just walked down it. As you can see, it goes right across, or would have gone right across the lot, but legend says Dr. Tyler didn't like the proposal, so he started construction of this residence to prevent the extension of the street. So they call it the Tyler Spite House. Every town needs a little intrigue. Thank you, Frederick. This here is a fountain in front of City Hall here in Frederick, Maryland. Interesting little tidbit is in 1765, citizens of Frederick burned effigies of British officials in protest of the Stamp Act. And so if you remember from history, your history lessons, the Stamp Act was quite famous and was one of the catalysts for the American Revolution, and those guys were ticked off. Man, here's the City Hall. Present building was constructed in 1862 after the previous courthouse burned a year before. This building became Frederick City Hall in 1985 when a new county courthouse was built nearby. Masonic Temple, and we are standing on Church Street in what they call the clustered spires. You see church spires all up and down the street, and right here there are 3 of them, and some significance here historically. The view from this corner here at Church Street and Court shows Frederick's picturesque cluster of church steeples, distinguished in John Greenleaf Whittier's poem, The Ballad of Barbara Frietchie. He wrote, "The clustered spires of Frederick stand, green-walled by the hills of Maryland." All Saints Church is a Gothic-style church.
Interesting tidbit about this one.
Yeah?
Yeah. The Women's College of Frederick, now known as Hood College, was founded here.
Nice. This is not the Gothic church.
No, that one is.
There's the Gothic church.
And the firehouse?
Oh yeah, the firehouse. I'm looking for 10 West Church. Ah, yeah, the Gothic church.
Trinity Chapel.
Yep, Trinity Chapel. Francis Scott Key, author of the national anthem, was baptized by the pastor of Trinity Chapel.
Huh.
Baptized right there, I suppose. It's the oldest of the clustered spires of Frederick, and you can see that long, tall beauty right there.
Well, did you get the spire behind you? Because that's part of the poem.
Yes, I got a view of them all. Well, yep, that one there. That one all the way up there.
There's 2 on that church, by the way.
Yeah, there's one on the other side of the front there.
And then there's one over here. And then there's 2 down this way.
Yep, and so this whole street is full of churches. That's why they call it Church Street. And then down the street a little ways, we haven't got to them yet. We've got the Evangelical Lutheran Church, which dates back to 1854. And it served, like a lot of the other churches in the area, as a hospital during the Civil War.
Hold on, I gotta get a close-up of this window over here. That front window.
Yeah,
With
that's
the
beautiful.
angel looking out.
So right here is Kemp Hall. This is the place in April 1861 where the Maryland legislature met to determine whether Maryland should secede from the Union. Okay, so this 2-winged structure is Winchester Hall. It was erected in 1843 by educator Hiram Winchester, and it originally housed the Frederick Female Seminary, which preceded Hood College. Now it houses Frederick County government offices. So this is Evangelical Lutheran Church, and if you look up, you can see 2 spires, again, part of the spires of Church Street, the Frederick Spires they're called, I suppose. And they're beautiful. This is a gorgeous church. This is the Museum of Frederick County History. It was built in 1824 as a residence. Later it was used as an orphanage. And then in 1959 it was purchased to interpret and preserve local history. So that's what they use it for now. Trail Mansion is currently a funeral home, but it was constructed in 1852 by Colonel Charles Trail. The stepping stone along the street in front of the wrought iron gate was used by women getting in and out of carriages. And I can get close enough, I'll show it to you. I may be in a bad position on the other side of the street to do that. There's a car right there.
Right.
But yeah, there's a stepping stone evidently probably right there where that car is parked. Ah, yes, there it is. Nice little fountain over there. Beautifully kept. So we're coming up on one of a couple of bridges that are on the walking tour. It's Carroll Creek Park and Community Bridge. And this park is a mile-long creekside park, part of a flood control project started in the 1980s. Features walkways, seasonally blooming water lilies, bridges, and public art. And you can get a good look. It's long, I don't know what this river or creek, whatever it is.
Carroll Creek.
Carroll Creek, okay, Carroll Creek.
Carroll Creek.
So we're in Carroll County, Maryland, right?
No.
Isn't this Carroll County?
No, it's Frederick County.
Oh, it's Frederick County. Gotcha.
Frederick County.
Okay. Well, this is Carroll Creek. I don't know how it got its name, but you can see there's another bridge over there. They've got flags. Carroll Creek Park is what they call it. They've got all kinds of neat things. It's a good, nice little walkway there, and it goes down back that way a distance. That's a real good view from right here. And it's a very nicely kept park.
Alright, if I don't do this right, then I'm going to be on the bad side of my wife. So y'all bear with me and pray for me. But while you're doing that, don't forget, share us with your friends, like us if you like us if you don't, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. God bless.